Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey.
Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Duprey, along with my beautiful and talented wife, Carol Duprey. How's everybody doing today? Good, I hope. How are you today, Carol?
Good.
Awesome. What we're going to talk about today is Q&A. So today is Ask Brian and Carol. We have several questions that have come in recently to our Ask a Podcast question. On our website, childcaregenius.com, you can actually select Ask a Podcast question. And we will answer this call live on the air. So we're going to answer a couple today. We have 3 questions that have come in the last couple of weeks, and we're going to answer them live today. So the first one, Carol, glasses on here, is my husband recently quit his job and is now working with me in childcare business and driving me crazy. Help. He is driving me nuts. So how can we help Nancy here with her husband who's quit his job? I guess he's trying to work with her full-time into business.
I feel you.
Feel her pain. How can we help Nancy out?
The most important thing is to have lanes. You each have to have your own jobs. You can't really both do the same job. The worst thing you can do is to both be telling employees what to do because they don't know who to answer to, and they also don't know who to listen to. So one of you should be in charge of employees, one should be in charge of money, one should be in charge of maintenance or whatever. You just have to decide who wants to do what. And sometimes your lanes will intersect. Or like if you need to buy something for the childcare center and that goes into the financial. So that's 2 different lanes. And that's when you have to really talk with each other and come to a win-win agreement. But the lanes is the most important thing.
One thing I've noticed, Carol, is at least traditionally, I know there's not really gender roles in this, but traditionally, for the majority of part, the ladies tend to seem like the ones that run the schools. And the husbands, a lot of times, have their other full-time job, and then they're doing maintenance on the weekends. I've seen that. And then eventually the childcare business does good enough where the husband can quit his job. And that happened in our instance, Carol was doing good enough where I was able to quit my job. Mm-hmm. And I remember me crossing into that lane where I was like, okay, I could do this as good as she can. Better, right? Because I have a little ego here, right? Come in, and boy, did that create a lot of fireworks because Carol had been doing a great job for so long. And all of a sudden I'm coming in now and really messing things up, telling employees what to do and causing. We didn't know anything about lanes at that point. We didn't have coach or coaching. There was no childcare podcast at that time.
Yeah.
So what, guys, and I'm talking to you guys or ladies, if you're the one that's going in and somebody's been doing this, your partner's been doing this for a while, step back and ease in slowly and ask them, what can I do to help?
Right.
That's where your biggest thing is to be humble and know that you kind of work for them for a while. You need to learn how to work together, but you need to be a little submissive here. I think that would have helped me from a lot of trouble in there.
It would have helped me.
Yeah. It probably would have saved you a lot of drinking in the early days where you did it just to tolerate me, right? Or tell it like it is here.
I mean, the big thing is that men tend to want to fix things. So when, not just men, but mostly. So when we are dealing with things in the childcare center and we know how to do them from an emotional standpoint so that we we have to kind of tiptoe around feelings and, you know, especially now, people get their feelings hurt and you want to really deal with it diplomatically. And the guys or the alpha person in the relationship or in the business tends to say, this is the way it needs to be done. You're not handling it correctly, and
Yeah.
that's where you run into
And
problems.
that's usually where the problems lie. And it took me a long time to realize, 98% of the time she's right on these issues. Me, it was 2% of the time.
Mhm.
But I only tend to remember the 2%. I never
Yeah.
remembered the 98%.
I mean, there was a time when Brian ran the childcare centers mostly by himself for a while because I was homeschooling the kids. And when I came back into it, I heard a lot of that didn't happen when I was in charge.
Every time something went wrong, I was like, that never happened when I ran the childcare center. Of course, I didn't remember the bad because I'm a positive
Yeah.
guy. But she actually, I've told her since then that she's run it more profitably and much better than I ever ran it. I just had to be humble enough to let.
And the big thing is communication. You really have to just communicate with each other, especially if your partner steps on your toes. You need to talk to them about it and not just get upset and angry, because that just leads to more problems in the future.
We teach this a lot at our childcare conferences, how to communicate, how to have win-win. And we're going to develop a marriage course eventually that will help couples deal with these types of situations. All right, ask Brian and Carol. And the second question: I'm a sole proprietor and own 2 childcare locations. I hear you've been talking about corporations and forming one. Should I incorporate my childcare centers? And I actually have had clients who have come into our coaching program who have been sole proprietors and have $1 million business. And there's a couple disadvantages here. In a sole proprietor, you have a lot less protection from liability because you are the corporation. If when they something was wrong, they're going to sue you personally, and they could take your house, they could take your cars, thing you own, everything you own personally. So you don't have liability protection. So if you have a childcare center and you're making revenue, you're making 50K a year or more, or you have revenues in your company in the hundreds of thousands, you need to incorporate either LLC or an S corporation. The more profitable you are, the more I like the S corporation structure because of tax benefits. The secret is to pay the least amount of taxes required by law, just your fair share and not a penny more. With an S corporation, you're paying the highest tax rate possible. You're getting whacked very hard. You don't have any tax benefits whatsoever. Whereas an S corporation, the more you make,
You meant with a
better.
C corporation you're paying. You said an S corporation.
An S corporation is what they want.
Right.
C corporation is not what they want for most people.
Right.
Because you are going to get disbanded. Sorry if I mispronounced there, but an S corporation is what you're going to want, or an LLC taxed as an S corporation. So the secret is the tax designation. Talk to your CPA about the best strategy, but I've seen CPAs give oral advice on this too. Garbage in, garbage out. If you tell a CPA, can I be a sole proprietor? Yeah, it's legal to be one. They don't care if you pay too much tax as long as they don't, as long as you don't get audited. There's sometimes they don't give you the best tax advice to get the most tax benefit in there. So make sure you're getting good advice. Keep following our podcast. But if you plan to expand multiple locations, you definitely want to be an S corporation or tax as an S corporation, and that'll help you. One person who we coached in I think California, we got her incorporated. It'll save her, I think, $24,000 a year just in taxes, payroll taxes and income taxes. So the savings could be huge through incorporation. So talk to your tax professional on that. All right, last question. You've talked about recession coming for a while now, and now it seems like it is starting. Yeah, it is. What's the best way to prepare for it? So thank you for that question, Sally. I have been predicting this all 2024 that this was going to happen at late 24 or in 25. It's just all the writing on the wall. I know economics very, very well. And we've been in a borderline recession for quite a while, and now the job loss recession part is starting. I've seen a lot of the big 3 automakers are starting to lay off. Tech is doing that as well. So that's usually the first indicators. We should see travel start to subside. People are paying on credit cards to travel, so they're borrowing to travel, and credit card debt is at record high right now. So people are spending money they don't have to live in an economy that's unaffordable, and everything is going to catch up to people really, really quickly. Kind of scary when people are spending more than they're making. 4 years ago, Americans were making, $4,000 or $5,000 a year more, and a loaf of bread was half of what it is now, and gas was affordable, and people could buy a home. And now, just in 4 years, things have just gone absolutely haywire and crazy in this economy, and it's going to be causing a recession. And so, how do you prepare for it? A couple things. The first thing you want to do is build up a savings account and save as much money as you can. And the best way to do that is to tighten your belt. We've had to do that a few times over the years, right?
Yes, we have.
We remember 2008 recession, that the state cut our funding. It was hard. We really, we had to dip into savings to get through that. And that's what emergency savings is huge.
Lost kids because people lost their jobs.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's what will happen. So another thing you want to do is get full now. We're not in that recession yet. So fill your school, spend money, market, fill that school up, get a waiting list. Why do you want to do that, Brian? Because when the full-blown recession hits, you're going to lose 20% of your children. It's better to lose 20% when you're at 100% than lose 20% when you're at 60 to 70%, because that can make the difference between profitability and non-profitability. And so that is why. And if you have a 20% wait list, you're licensed for 100 and you have 20 people on your wait list. Well, if you lose those 20 kids to the recession, you can replace them with 20 people on your wait list and you'll still be full. So that's the key. Spend a lot of money on marketing now. If you need help, we have a whole marketing department, help fill your school, childcaregenius.com/marketing. We have a whole bunch of products that can help you. But you definitely want to get yourself in a good financial position. You want to get yourself in a good enrollment position and tighten your belt. No unnecessary spending. Do not go out and buy a new car. Don't go upside your house. Right now, you need to conserve cash as much as possible. Start limiting, as a recession hits, wages start driving downward. So you can start your new employees less than what current employees are making. So watch for wages to start pushing down, and you'll want to start people less because you'll need to save that money on your payroll. As higher paid employees leave, replace them with lower paid employees coming in. It's been a employee market for the last couple of years. That's going to shift when the recession happens, where people are scared about their jobs, and wages are going to drive down probably about 15%, which is going to help employers, providing they could survive it. And keep in mind that it's like when a bear is chasing you in the woods, you only have to outrun the person you're with, right? Because the bear will get the slow guy. Well, in business, it works survival kind of the same way. You only have to last long enough then to center down the road. And in a recession, it's everybody for themselves. And when they go under, you get their kids and their staff. And that's as cold as that sounds. That's economics 101, and it's survival. And we've been through 2 recessions. We survived. We bought competitors during that session. So it's a great time to expand and buying opportunity. So don't shy away from it. Know when it's coming. Welcome it. Know that you can grow out of it. Every recession, we've done better on the other side than we did ahead of time. And if you keep following us, listen to us, amazing people like the amazing Carol here. She knows what she's talking about. And we just want to thank you for taking your time to listen to the Child Care Genius podcast today. Keep sending those questions in. If you have a question for us, email us, brian@childcaregenius.com, info@childcaregenius.com, or go to our website at childcaregenius.com. Under the podcast tab, it says submit a podcast question. And we would love to answer your question. We're going to do this about every 2 or 3 months, answer live questions on the air. And we hope this helps you today. So again, if you'd like, if there's an area where we can help you and you're struggling in your business, and you've never done a call with me before, it's been over a year and you're a center owner, go to childcaregenius.com. Under the coaching tab, say I'd like a free coaching call. Get on the call with me. We'll spend 15, 20, 30 minutes, maybe even 40 minutes. And I'll give you tips and tools at no cost to you to help you on your way to a better, more successful childcare center.
Yeah.
I want to thank my amazing, beautiful co-host today for joining me on this episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. And we will see you next week. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
So you won't miss a future episode of the Childcare Genius podcast.
And hit like too, hit like it. Maybe leave a review. Tell the world how much you like it. And we'll see you next week then. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.